The alarm goes off, and your hand moves before your mind does. You silence the sound, pull the blanket slightly higher, and tell yourself the softest lie in the world. You whisper, "In 5 minutes." The room is gentle, the phone is bright, and the day waits like a closed door. In another home, a designer opens a blank canvas and then opens the refrigerator. A student highlights a sentence and then highlights the entire page. A manager opens the email window and then opens a tab about coffee machines. The pattern feels silly from the outside and heavy from within. Here is the quiet truth that helps you move today. Procrastination is not a time problem first, it is a feeling problem. When a task stirs discomfort, your brain reaches for relief faster than it reaches for action. That relief wears the costume of later. If you can make the feeling small, the action becomes available. We will do that here by giving your body a safe starting point, your mind a simple protocol, and your day a place to land. You do not need a new personality. You need a shorter ramp. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. Your day is a runway in morning fog, and you are the pilot. You do not clear the entire sky, you light the next 10 meters. Planes take off like that. So do new habits. Before we move, I'll offer one promise and one boundary. The promise is practical wins you can use within minutes. The boundary is ethical and simple. This is educational guidance, not therapy or diagnosis. If your struggle is severe or tangled with deep distress, seeking professional help is wise and strong. Let us begin with a single useful idea. You do not end procrastination by fighting delay. You end it by making starting feel safer than delaying. Safety beats force, almost every time. The body moves when the feeling of threat drops. Think of discomfort as a smoke alarm, not a judge. The beep is loud, but it is only a signal to find the door. When you label the beep as failure, you freeze. When you treat it as a cue, you move. Here is a small move with a big consequence. Say out loud, now, the next physical action you could take on your most avoided task. Keep it tiny. Open the document. Put the shoes by the door. Set a 10-minute timer. The sentence becomes a handle. Now the first micro-exercise, the 2-minute rule. Shrink your task until the first slice can be done in under 2 minutes. Open the file. Name it clearly. Write a single messy sentence. Press save. You are not finishing the project. You are creating traction. You may wonder why 2 minutes matter when the task needs hours. Because bodies learn by doing, not by intending. Starting converts anxiety to motion. Motion reduces friction. Reduced friction invites the next step. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. You are carrying a heavy box down a hallway. The first step is not elegant, but once your weight shifts, the second step arrives on its own. Momentum is a kind friend. Let us place this on a simple frame you can remember under pressure. Observe, adjust, reinforce. Observe the feeling and the context without verdict. Adjust the task to a smaller action and a shorter horizon. Reinforce the movement with a tiny win recorded immediately. Try it now. Observe, name the feeling in one word, and the cue that triggered it. Tense, email from the client. Adjust, define the first action that takes less than 2 minutes. Write the subject line only. Reinforce, log the action on a sticky note and put a check mark beside it. The feeling shifts when the body moves. There is a principle beneath this that makes your life easier. Your brain prefers certainty and near rewards. When a task is vague and far away, delay feels safer than beginning. When a task is concrete and near, beginning feels lighter than delay. So we shorten the distance to reward with a tiny proof of progress. The proof can be a saved file, a crossed line, a 5-word note in a simple tracker. Your mind sees the mark and says, "Oh, this is real." The door opens a little more. You may notice an urge to negotiate. You will think, 2 minutes is pointless. Or, I should attack the hardest part first. Notice the voice and answer with a kinder logic. First steps are not about finishing. They are about lowering the gate. The gate drops for everyone. You learn to raise it faster. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A key turning in a quiet lock. It does not open the whole house, but it lets you in. You can breathe in the hallway. You can choose the next room. Let us add one practical layer to protect your start. Design a friction-free launch pad for your single most delayed task. Place the required tools in one visible place, pre-arranged for action. If it is writing, leave the document open with the cursor at the next line. If it is training, place the shoes beside your bag and set the timer in advance. The Launchpad works because it removes 3 invisible costs: searching, deciding, and switching. Searching wastes energy. Deciding creates doubt. Switching breaks focus. When the Launchpad is set, you spend your will on doing. Now, a micro task you can complete within the next hour. Choose one task you are avoiding and write a first 2 statement on a sticky note. It has 2 parts only: the 2-minute action and a cue for when it happens. When I finish breakfast, I will open the invoice file. Place the note where your eyes land first. You might feel resistance in your chest when you set the cue. That is normal. The body is bracing for effort. Exhale slowly, drop your shoulders, and imagine the action already completed. The picture softens the edge. There is another small lever you can pull quickly. Make the start pleasant without turning it into a party. Pair the first 2 minutes with a neutral, steady companion. Play a low instrumental track. Light a lamp you like. Sip water while you type. The point is cue stability, not celebration. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: a dock-light guiding boats through a grey dawn. The light does not shout. It stays on. Your start deserves that kind of gentle, reliable signal. A short story to ground these ideas. A software lead kept delaying a simple demo video for a client. She told herself she needed a quiet afternoon. Afternoons filled themselves. We made one change. Every day at 09:40, after her stand-up, she opened her screen recorder and spoke only the opening line. After 5 days, the line felt easy. On day 6, she recorded the whole demo in 12 minutes. The fog did not vanish. She learned its shape. What did the change rest on? Predictable cue, tiny scope, immediate mark of completion. She stopped arguing with the task and designed the start. Arguing feels active. Design does the work. Your day is easier when design wins. Let us craft your starter kit in 30 seconds. Pick one-time anchor you see every day, like after coffee, after commute, or after lunch. Pick one location where the first action happens, like desk, kitchen table, or gym entry. Pair them with a 2-minute action, time plus place plus tiny act. Write it once. After coffee at the desk, I will open the brief and write one ugly sentence. Ugly is important. Ugly lowers shame. Shame loves delay. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: your mind is a workbench. If the surface is cluttered with heavy judgments, your hands hesitate. If the surface is clear and the first tool is ready, your hands begin. You may ask, what if urgency is real and 2 minutes is an insult to the deadline? Then use the same gateway and add a short sprint. Open the file, write one ugly sentence, then set a 10-minute timer and continue. 10 minutes turns a gateway into a lane. Lanes become roads quickly. Notice how we never asked you to conquer the entire day. We asked you to shape the first moments. Your calendar holds containers, your body needs handles. Give it handles. Now the 24-hour micro-challenge. In the next day, choose 3 tasks you are postponing. For each one, complete only the first 2 minutes and mark them with a check. Do not chase the feeling of done. Chase the certainty of begun. Beginning 3 times in one day teaches your nervous system that starting is safe. What if you break the streak? You will. When it happens, practice the gentlest restart protocol on record. Name the miss without drama. I skipped it. State the next available cue. After dinner. Perform the smallest action. Open the document. Close the loop by logging a check. Guilt is heavy, checks are light. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: you are turning a heavy ship by a series of small, steady moves. The wheel does not jerk, the course still changes. Let's install a daily one-question habit to keep momentum alive. Each evening ask, what is the smallest action that would give tomorrow morning a head start? Answer in fewer than 10 words. Place the answer where you will see it when you wake. The question is a soft engine. For a weekly task, keep it equally simple. Once a week, review your starts, not your finishes. Circle the starts that felt smooth. Underline one friction you can remove for next week. Improvement settles in when attention notices ease. You may still hear the old beliefs speak. I am lazy. I am broken. They are loud because they have been rehearsed. Replace them with descriptions, not verdicts. I delay when tasks feel vague. I move when steps are small. Descriptions invite design. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: a label on a jar. If the label says unknown, you will not open it. If the label says one sentence first, your hand reaches. One last practical insight for today's section. The first start of the day sets a tone that echoes. Begin with a task that is short and visible. Make your bed if you like. Write a 3-line email. Walk to the corner and back. The brain takes note. It says, "We begin here." The next start borrows that rhythm. If you want a phrase to carry in your pocket, try this one. Reduce the feeling, reduce the friction, reduce the first step. Say it when the fog gathers. Say it when a tab calls your name. Say it once, then act within 2 minutes. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: a match struck in a dim room. It does not light the city, it lights the page. The page is enough to write the next line. You have enough to begin now. Choose one avoided task. Speak the first action out loud. Pair it with a near cue. Move for 2 minutes. Mark the check. When the urge to negotiate appears, return to design. Design will be patient, and design will win. We have lit the runway and felt the wheels roll. The next question is natural and precise. How do you make the feeling of starting this steady, even when the day pushes back? We asked how to make a start steady. The answer begins with a cleaner way to see what you are fighting. What makes a start repeatable? Procrastination grows when 3 dials drift to the wrong side. The first dial is clarity. Vague tasks scare the body. The second dial is confidence. If you believe the first step will hurt, you brace and stall. The third dial is closeness. If the reward sits far away, your brain picks the closer comfort. When you tune these dials, starting becomes a normal reflex. Think of your mind as a small studio with 3 sliders: clarity, confidence, closeness. You do not need to push them to the maximum. You only need to move each one a little to the right. 1 notch is often enough to cross the line where action feels safer than delay. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: you are holding a radio with static. A tiny twist clears the voice. You did not build a new radio, you found the station. Clarity means the task fits in a single sentence you could say to a friend. If your sentence includes 3 and then parts, it is not a task. It is a bundle. Bundles breed delay. Tasks invite action. Your body can start a task. It does not know what to do with a bundle. Confidence is not a chant. It is evidence that the next move is small enough to survive. Your nervous system measures threat by size and uncertainty. When the step is tiny and obvious, the threat signal drops. You feel a little braver because the world feels a little safer. Closeness is the distance to your next proof of progress. Proof is not glory. Proof is a saved file, a first paragraph, a named folder, a short note to a teammate. Your brain likes proof because proof closes loops. Loops left open drain energy. These dials shape a simple protocol you can use within minutes. Observe the 3 dials without judgment. Adjust each one by a single notch. Reinforce the change with an immediate mark. This is the same skeleton from before, but now we name the knobs. When you can name a knob, you can turn it. Here is a micro exercise you can try right now. It takes 3 minutes and gives you a floor to stand on. Open a blank note. Write the task you are avoiding in 1 short line. Stop. Now rewrite it as a single physical action you could perform in under 10 minutes. Stop. Now rewrite it once more as a 2-minute opening move. 3 lines only. Next, set a timer for 2 minutes and do the opening move. When the timer stops, place a small mark on your note and close it. This is your clarity, confidence, closeness drill. You tuned all 3 dials with 1 motion. You may feel the urge to continue when the timer ends. Good. Continue if you want, but only by adding another 2-minute slice. Keep each slice self-contained. Take a breath between slices. The pause itself is a reward. Rewards make the habit stick. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: a row of light switches in a hallway. You do not sprint in the dark to reach the end. You switch one light on, then the next. The line of light follows you. Let us frame procrastination with 2 friendly truths. You are not allergic to work. You are allergic to incoherent starts, and you are not short on willpower. You are short on handles. Give your mind handles, and your day moves. Handles look like easy beginnings, pre-placed in your path. Open documents with the cursor at the next line. Pack your gym bag and set it by the door. Place the book on your chair so you must lift it to sit. These small frictions are not moral tricks, they are physics. Bodies follow paths of least resistance. Build the path. If we go one layer deeper, we meet the feeling beneath the delay. The feeling is not laziness, it is threat misread as effort. Your brain tags effort as risk when stakes feel high and outcomes feel hazy. You can teach your brain a new tag. Effort can mean exploration. Use language to recode the tag. Replace I must finish with I will explore for 10 minutes. Replace this has to be perfect with this can be ugly and useful. Replace I should know this already with I can learn one thing now. Words change the size of the room. A smaller room feels safer to move in. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. You open a heavy door into a crowded hall. The noise hits you. Then you find a side room with a single chair. You sit, you breathe. The work happens there. Work. Now we build a clean frame for your day. Use a 2-line map each morning. Line 1 holds your single most avoided task, rewritten as a 10-minute action. Line 2 holds the cue when it happens. After coffee. After commute. After the first meeting. 2 lines only. The map restrains you from planning the entire day to avoid the first move. If you want, add a tiny support ritual. A glass of water beside the keyboard. A single chime that marks the start. A short begin card you tap. Keep it gentle. The ritual should not become a performance. It is a doorway. Walk through. When you hit resistance, notice your environment. Clutter pulls your eyes sideways. Notifications yank your attention by the sleeve. Close what pulls. Open only what you need for the next 10 minutes. Your brain deserves a quiet stage. Actors forget their lines when the stage is crowded. Here is a friction sweep you can do in 2 minutes. Set a timer. Remove 3 items from your desk that do not serve the next action. Place your phone face down in another room or on airplane mode. Open the exact file you will touch. Start the timer for the work slice. Sweep, then slice. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. You clear a small square on a fogged mirror. The square is enough to see your eyes. Seeing your eyes is enough to begin. Let us return to the 3 dials and add practical edges to each one. Clarity improves when you choose verbs that a camera could see. Write, file, call, copy, paste, set, send, walk. Avoid verbs the camera cannot see. Consider, think, manage, prepare. The latter are fine as themes, not as starts. Starts need cameras. Confidence rises when the first action is so small that failure carries no sting. Write a bad title. Record a rough opening. Draft 3 bullet ideas you may delete later. The key is the phrase, may delete later. Permission lowers stakes. Lower stakes reduce threat. Closeness improves when feedback arrives fast. Ask for a 3-line reply, not a full review. Save a draft with a date, not a fancy name. Log your 2-minute slices with a simple mark instead of a polished tracker. If Polish becomes a task, you will delay the proof. Proof wants speed. You might wonder how to use this when the task is creative and ambiguous. Creativity is a field of small tests. Start with a tiny test you can perform today. Sketch 5 headlines. Try 1 chord pattern. Write 50 words of dialogue you will likely throw away. The test gives you a foothold. Footholds beat muses. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. Climbers do not leap to the peak. They place the next anchor. The rope holds because the anchor is close. There is a gentle method for days when your mind feels thick and slow. Borrow motion from a simpler task. Tidy the surface of your desk. Wash 1 dish. Walk to the end of your street and back. Then slip the 2-minute slice of the avoided task right after. The body carries the momentum forward. Momentum is transferable. If shame shows up, greet it with data. Not scolding, data. I completed 4 2-minute slices before lunch. I placed 3 checks on my note. Data talks to the part of your brain that makes choices. It will listen. Shame only makes noise. Here is a daily 1-question practice that locks the gains. Ask each evening, which dial blocked me today? Circle clarity, confidence, or closeness. Then write 1 sentence about how you will nudge that dial tomorrow. Keep the sentence visible. Your brain loves plans that fit on a sticky note. Let us add a small safeguard for surprise days. Life will hit you with a sudden demand. Your schedule will slip. Keep a rescue start ready. A rescue start is a 2-minute move you can perform anywhere with little setup. Write a single sentence in a notes app. Draft the email subject line. List the 3 facts you must include. When the day is chaotic, complete one rescue start. Chaos does not own your identity when you still begin. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: a candle burning on a windy night. The flame bends but stays. It stays because the wick is short and the base is steady. If you lead a team, share the language of the 3 dials. Ask for tasks as camera verbs. Ask teammates to propose the smallest test. Give feedback quickly and in thin slices. Cultures that value starts create finishes by accident. The accident is predictable. Maybe you fear that small starts will make you small. The opposite happens. Small starts make you consistent. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Trust expands your range. Expansion invites bigger work because the base is solid. There is one more trick that feels almost unfair. Pair your start with an identity that you admire in yourself. Say it quietly before you begin. I am someone who opens the file on time. I am someone who explores for 10 minutes without judgment. Identities are doors. You walk differently once you step through. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: a jacket that fits just right. You move better because your shoulders are free. Good identities fit like that. You now have a clear studio with 3 sliders and a drill you can run in minutes. You know how to give your mind handles and proof. You know how to change the tag on effort from danger to exploration. These are light tools, and they work even on heavy days. So the question becomes simple and alive. How would these dials behave inside a real story where the stakes pinch and the clock is loud? The stakes were real for Lena. A product lead with a bright team and a louder calendar. She had an investor update due Friday. It was Wednesday night. The slide deck lived as a skeleton of titles and empty placeholders. Every time she opened it, her chest tightened, and her mouse drifted toward chat. She told herself she was waiting for one more data point. The truth was simpler. The first move felt sharp. She used the dials on paper before she used them on work. Clarity, confidence, closeness. She wrote the 3 words at the top of a blank page. Under clarity, she wrote, "Draft the first slide as a single story sentence." Under confidence, she wrote, "Make it ugly on purpose." Under closeness, she wrote, "Save and screenshot the slide as proof." The plan took 60 seconds. The feeling eased by half, which was enough to touch the deck. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A river runs between you and a task. You do not learn to fly. You build a short bridge from the wood you already have. She called that bridge 5 minutes long. Her timer would sing in 300 seconds whether she loved the result or not. She opened the deck, clicked slide 1, and typed a rough line. We grew weekly active users by a steady 5% across 3 months. The sentence was true and flat. Flat was fine. She saved, captured the slide, and dropped the image into her note. Her nervous system saw the mark. The bridge held. The second slide resisted more. It needed a chart. Charts invite perfection. She tested a smaller move. She pasted the most important number in large text. No colours, no grid. Just the number, centered. She saved, screenshotted, and moved the image to the note. The bridge grew plank by plank. She could keep going or she could stop without shame. The clock ticked forward and an interruption arrived. A teammate pinged her with a question about a small bug. Old Lena would have chased the ping because pings feel productive and safe. She used an interrupt recipe instead. She wrote the words, "After this slide, answer Sam." Then she finished the line she was on. The recipe turned a tug into a plan. Plans, quiet tugs. Pause for a moment. Imagine this: 2 magnets on a table. One pulls your attention hard. You place a small wooden rail between them. The rail turns the pull into a path. By the end of the first hour, Lena had 5 slides with text, 1 draft chart, and a note full of screenshots. None of it was polished. All of it existed. Existing work invites editing. Blank space invites avoidance. She felt a small warmth in her hands, the kind that comes when you lift something you once feared to touch. The next morning she added a light ritual to protect the start. She poured water, opened the deck, and read the first slide out loud in a calm voice. The calm voice mattered. It lowered the internal brass band that plays when stakes feel high. Then she set a new 5-minute bridge and rebuilt the chart with the simplest bars she could draw. The bars told the story. Pretty could wait. Her manager asked for a preview by noon. Pressure rose. Pressure often knocks the dials wild. She reset them with one sentence. Clarity is one story per slide. She pulled words that did not serve that story. Confidence rose when she gave herself permission to leave a slide good enough for now. Closeness sat in the corner as a folder of screenshots that grew every hour. Proof changes posture. She made one mistake that you may recognize. After a short run of progress, she opened the design panel and lost 20 minutes to color choices. When she noticed she was polishing an unsteady floor, she laughed and closed the panel. The laugh mattered. It signaled a return to exploration. Exploration produces material. Perfection consumes it. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. You sand a table leg before the top exists. Sawdust collects, but you still have no table. The top must exist first. At noon, she sent the preview with a thin, confident note. Rough draft, main trends in place, open to one key change. By asking for one key change, she brought feedback closer. Closeness delivered. Her manager replied with a single request about framing users per cohort, not total. That request would have paralyzed Lena on Tuesday. On Thursday, it was a small edit because a scaffold stood. Let us pull 2 lessons out of her story. A 5-minute bridge beats a promise to focus for hours. And an interrupt recipe keeps you on the path when the world waves at you. Bridges and recipes sound modest. Modesty is their strength. Now the practice you can use today. It has 4 short parts and fits on one card. Call it the 5-minute bridge. Write the task at the top, in one line a camera could see. Draft slide 1 sentence. Record a rough opening paragraph. Outline 3 bullet ideas. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Do the action badly on purpose. When the timer ends, save a proof that the step exists. Proof can be a screenshot, a file save, or a check mark on a visible board. Finally, write the next action in one short line and park it where your eyes rest. Stop or continue by choice, not by guilt. There is a hidden muscle this practice trains. It teaches your mind that effort can end. When effort has an end, effort begins. Endless work threatens the body. Bounded work invites it. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a short trail cut through tall grass. You walk it once and the grass still rises. You walk it 5 times and the path stays. You might wonder what to do when the first 5 minutes produce only noise. Noise is still signal. It tells you where the edges are too vague. Respond by tightening clarity, not by scolding yourself. Replace work on proposal with write the opening problem line. Replace clean the kitchen with clear the counter near the sink. Replace study biology with copy one definition by hand. Clarity makes friction honest. Another snag waits under creative tasks. You fear that an early draft will lock you into a weak idea. The fear is loud because your mind hates sunk cost. Answer it with a rule. Every first pass is disposable by default. That sentence lets you move your hands. Hands moving will discover stronger options faster than a frozen head will. Lena used one more trick when energy dipped late on Thursday. She borrowed momentum. She stood, folded a blanket, put a glass in the sink and sat again. Then she set a 2-minute timer and typed 3 ugly slide headlines without stopping. The body loves rhythm. Small chores gave rhythm to a foggy mind. The fog thinned just enough. If you lead others, share the bridge as a team norm. Begin meetings with a 5-minute silent start on the real work, not a list of intentions. Close meetings by naming a single 2-minute first step for each owner and by asking for the timestamp of when it will occur. Words like soon invite delay. Timestamps invite action. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A train moving from the yard to the main line. The first meters matter most. Rails guide steel. We have not spoken about emotions that sit beneath the task and make bridges feel fragile. Shame, fear, and tired hope can all press on your chest. Meet them with description and tempo, not with lectures. Shame shows up when I open finance. I will mark 1 line item. Fear shows up when I pitch. I will rehearse 1 sentence. Hope shows up tired after lunch. I will walk to the corner and back. Emotions respect movement more than they respect speeches. Let us give you a second tool that travels well with the bridge. Name it the red pen outline. Before you draft, take a physical red pen or a bright digital marker. Write a 3-line outline of what this chunk will say. Keep each line blunt. One claim, one reason, one evidence. When you write with the red pen, you tell your brain this is scaffolding, not stone. Scaffolds carry less threat. Lena used the red pen on Friday morning. 3 lines guided the final edits. Claim, sustained growth came from retention, not acquisition. Reason, cohort analysis shows rising week 2 return. Evidence, feature X increased second session rate by 8 points. The lines let her cut 2 slides and strengthen 1. Investors like strong. You may think this structure will make your work stiff. The opposite happens. When the spine is clear, muscles can move freely. You are not caging creativity, you are giving it a floor. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a dancer on a sprung stage. The floor gives a little, so the leap goes higher. To close this section, place your own 5-minute bridge on the table. Choose one task you have delayed for at least a week. Write the camera line. Set the timer. Do it badly, save proof. Name the next move. If you want to add flavour, use the red pen outline first, then build the bridge. Your next hours will still have pings, doubts and dips. That is normal. The bridge does not remove the river. It simply gives you a way across that you can trust, even when the water is high. The dials help you see the controls. The bridge helps you move your feet. The story we followed was one person, one deck, and 1 week. Yours will have different shapes. A student with 3 exams, a parent with paperwork, a founder with a feature launch. The pattern is the same. Build short bridges, protect starts, ask for proof. The rest becomes possible. There is one more piece waiting just ahead. Bridges work, dials help. But what happens when the day throws a storm and the plan shatters? Storms do not ask for your schedule. Your plan is clean at 9 a.m, and by 9:20, 3 demands collide, a memory nags, and your chest tightens like a fist. This is the hour when "I'll start later" sounds kind, even wise. It is also the hour when delay becomes identity if you let it. Here is the sharper truth. When pressure rises, procrastination is not a character flaw. It is a relief loop. Discomfort sparks, your hand reaches for the nearest exit. The relief lands, and your brain learns that escape works. The lesson is fast and sticky. If you do not design a different relief, the loop wins. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a lighthouse in heavy rain. The sea does not soften, but the light repeats. The ship moves because repetition beats noise. Let us X-ray a single episode so we can feel the gears. A cue appears, the calendar alert, the unread message, the blank slide. Micro-threat registers in the body first, jaw tight, breath shallow, shoulders up. The mind narrates after. Not ready. Need one more input. I'll hit it at 11. You touch a shiny exit. Inbox, news, settings, coffee. Relief slides in. The loop closes with a quiet reward. There, that's better. The gears learn the path. You cannot bully an X-ray. You can change the physics. We change it by replacing exits with anchors that give equal relief and keep you near the task. Relief stays. Direction changes. When the storm hits, you don't seek calm. You seek a rope. Main metaphor for this section. Rope and anchor. One rope in your hand, one anchor point in your scene. If the rope is obvious and the anchor is close, the body will use them before it dives for distraction. If they are absent, the wave wins. Here is the strongest insight in this book so far. You do not beat procrastination by raising willpower. You beat it by lowering panic within the first 30 seconds. Lower panic, and the start becomes the easiest choice in the room. How do you lower panic fast? With a 1-move ritual that tells your nervous system, we are safe enough to begin. 1 move only, not a ceremony. The move must be physical, repeatable, and tied to the task. Stand, exhale long, touch the file icon, and say 5 quiet words. Only the first small part. Then click. That is it. The rope is in your hand. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A climber slipping on wet stone. The rope catches because it was clipped before the slip. You clip before you climb. Let us deepen the frame with 3 concepts that are simple to say and powerful to use. Decision depth. Every open choice taxes your attention like interest on a loan. When you look at a task and see 10 choices, delay is cheaper than paying them all now. The fix is not bravery, it is pre-deciding one tiny default. Defaults start for writing, one ugly sentence. Defaults start for study, copy one definition by hand. Defaults erase debt. Attention residue. When you switch to a shiny exit, a part of your mind stays where you came from. That residue slows you on both sides. Some research suggests incomplete loops keep nudging working memory. You can use that to your advantage by leaving a deliberate half line at the end of a slice. Next, explain example A. Residue now becomes a pullback, not a leak. Threat tagging. Your brain tags effort as danger when the stakes feel high and the target is vague. Retag effort as exploration. Use this exact sentence. I'm exploring for 10 minutes. Exploration lowers the tag. Lower tags, lower panic. Lower panic enables starts. Now the anchor and rope exercise. 3 minutes, pen ready. Step 1. Write the task you fear at the top of a page. Step 2. Choose a rope, a single physical move you can repeat every time before you start. Stand, long exhale, hand on mouse, 5 quiet words. Step 3. Choose an anchor, the nearest object or screen state that proves you are inside the task. File open at the next line, timer set, 1 line pre-typed. Step 4. Run the rope and touch the anchor now, even if for 30 seconds. The body will remember this chain faster than any speech you give yourself. You will be tempted to decorate the ritual. Don't. The brain trusts what you can reproduce under pressure. Small and repeatable beats, fancy and fragile. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a pocket watch you click open with your thumb. The click is simple. The click is enough. Let's look at the emotional spike that makes storms feel bigger than they are. The spike is not only fear, it is also loss. Starting means losing a comfort. Scrolling, control, the illusion that later me will be stronger. If you do not name that loss, you will bargain with it. Bargaining keeps you in the doorway. Name it aloud. If I begin, I lose browsing. I lose the fantasy of a perfect window. I lose the feeling that I'm safe because nothing can be judged yet. Naming shrinks shadows. Shrunk shadows stop running the room. Here is a practice that bites gently and works. Relief swap. Make a tiny menu of 3 near-task comforts you will allow in the first 5 minutes. Sip water while typing. Play instrumental sound at low volume. Put your shoulders down and touch both feet to the ground. These give the nervous system something to hold. They swap the far relief of distractions for the near relief of presence. We lift intensity now with a second lens, time illusions. Under storm pressure, your mind misprices time. It overvalues 5 minutes of escape and undervalues 5 minutes of entry. 5 minutes of escape creates nothing and teaches avoidance. 5 minutes of entry creates an artifact and teaches trust. The prices are not equal. Pay the cheaper one. Use this sentence when the illusion roars. 5 minutes of entry is worth more than 50 minutes of guilt. Repeat it once, then start the timer. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a market stall where 2 coins look the same, but one buys bread and one buys air. You learn to feel the weight by touch. Let us add the helper metaphor for this section. A fire break. In a forest fire, crews cut a narrow strip that the fire cannot cross. Your fire break is 3 minutes wide. Anytime a storm hits, your only job is to cross the 3-minute fire break with your rope and anchor. Once across, the flames calm. You don't put out the forest, you refuse to feed the edge. A short, intense drill to install the fire break, the 3x30. Choose one avoided task, do 3 rounds of 30 seconds each. Round 1, rope, stand, exhale, 5 words. Round 2, anchor, open file at next line. Round 3, move fingers without judgment for 30 seconds. Stop, log 1 check. If you feel the pull, run another 3x30. The storm recognizes patterns. Give it the pattern you want it to see. What happens when the storm is social? Pings, people, sudden asks. Use the after this line rail. When interrupted, say in your mind, after this line, I'll respond. Finish the line you are on, then respond. You turn a yank into a sequence. Sequence feels like control. Control calms the body. You might argue, But some storms demand everything now. True. Emergencies exist. That is why we build a rescue start that travels anywhere. A rescue start is a 2-sentence note to your future self. Paused at X. Next tiny step. Y. Save it where you can see it. Even in crisis, you can write 2 sentences. Crisis steals time. It does not have to steal your place. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A bookmark slips into a book as you run for the door. The page will wait. Panic hates bookmarks because they keep meaning intact. Let us craft the most powerful slice of language in this section. Then we will practice. Not later, lighter. Say it when you feel the wave. You are not postponing. You are reducing weight. You are not rejecting the task. You are shrinking the entry. Lighter beats later. Time for the high heat exercise, the one that becomes your personal lever. It is called door, handle, hinge. Door. Rewrite your task as the door you will open. Write the claim line. Import the dataset. Pack 2 forms. Handle. Define the first finger-sized motion that touches the door. Place cursor at top. Drag file into window. Lay ID on table. Hinge. Write the specific cue that lets the door swing. After coffee. At 14:10. When timer chimes. The set takes 90 seconds. Then move. You will feel the click. If you want a microtask to run in the next hour, do this. Prepare a storm card. On a small card or phone note, write 3 lines only. Your rope, your anchor, and after this line, keep the card within reach. When the weather turns, look once and act. The card is your pocket lighthouse. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a pilot's checklist in a tight cockpit. The list does not argue with the weather. It gives hands a path. Let us face the heaviest emotion beneath all of this. Shame. Shame says, you should not need any of this. Answer with a softer math. Humans build tools for hard things. I am human. Then prove it with a 2-minute artifact. Shame recedes in the light of evidence. And when perfection taps your shoulder with its perfect timing, perfect plan, perfect self, turn and smile. Perfect is the original storm. Give it a job that keeps it busy and harmless. You will choose fonts at the end. Jobs tame ghosts. One last insight before we hand you the next protocol. Fear does not vanish with progress. It simply learns your pace. You will still feel weather. The difference is, you will have a rope in your hand and an anchor in your scene. Starts become a reflex because safety is rehearsed, not discovered. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a drummer keeping time at the back of a band. The melody can soar because the beat is steady. Your rope is that beat. You now hold the rope, the anchor, the firebrake, and the door. This is the rise, the place where storms no longer define you, they only describe the sky. What you need next is a clear, small protocol that turns these ideas into steps you can repeat without thinking, even on the worst days. Resolution is not a mood, it is a sequence. When the sequence lives on one page and in your muscles, storms lose leverage and start to become quiet. You do not need louder motivation. You need a tighter loop you can run with your eyes half closed. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A carpenter's jig on a workbench. The jig holds wood at the exact angle so every cut is clean. Without the jig, each cut asks for judgment and drains strength. With it, the saw hums and the board slides. Your day needs a jig. We will build one now. One main tool, one helper, and a small protocol that you can finish in 3 minutes and repeat for hours. The tool is a card you keep within reach. The helper is a turnstile that clicks each time you pass, so momentum is felt. The protocol ties them into a loop you can trust. Name the card your start jig. It is a single sheet or phone note with 7 short lines. Each line removes a decision that used to tax you. When decisions shrink, panic falls, and entry feels lighter than exit. Line 1, camera verb. Write your task as a physical action a camera could see in 10 words or less. Write 1 claim line. Import dataset into sheet. Pack the 2 forms. If a camera cannot see it, you will stall. Line 2, 2-minute gate. Rewrite the action as a 2-minute move done. Ugly on purpose. The words ugly on purpose are part of the gate. They lower stakes. Lower stakes let hands begin. Line 3, cue stamp. Write the exact moment or anchor when the gate opens. After coffee, at 14:10. When timer chimes. Vague time invites drift. Stamped time invites movement. Line 4. Rope words. 5 quiet words you say to enter. Only the first small part. The words meet the body before thought grows noisy. Line 5. Proof token. Decide how you will capture evidence of completion. Screenshot. Saved file. A single check on a board. Proof ends doubt. Line 6. Next handle. Pre-write the next 2-minute action you will take after the gate. Handles keep loops alive. Line 7. Turnstile count. Draw 3 small boxes. Each time you pass the gate, you check a box. The click is real when you check it. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A subway turnstile. Each push gives a soft click. You do not wonder if you moved. You feel it. Your card will click. Now the protocol. It fits in your pocket and in your throat. Say it softly as you do it. The body trusts hands that move with words. Step 1. Place the card where your eyes land. Breathe out long. Touch the edge of the card. The touch is your rope. Step 2. Read the camera verb once. Read the 2-minute gate once. Do not explain it to yourself. Explanation is a neat delay. Step 3. Speak the rope words. Only the first small part. Click your timer for 2 minutes. Begin ugly on purpose. No polish yet, even if you want it. Step 4. When the timer ends, capture the proof token. Save, screenshot, or check the board. Proof makes the turnstile click. Step 5. Without thinking, glance at the next handle and write it fresh if needed. If energy is present, run another 2-minute gate. If not, stop on purpose. Stopping on purpose is a clean exit that invites return. This loop is light and repeatable. It also stacks. 3 gates equal a short sprint. 4 sprints equal a strong hour. A strong hour changes your week. The math is gentle but stubborn. Gentle wins. You may ask how this differs from what you have already tried. It removes 3 leaks that ruin many systems. It binds the rope to the first move instead of to a long warm-up. It gives proof in seconds, not at the end. And it writes the next handle before you can bargain with later. Leaks closed, loop runs. Let us test it with a quick scenario. You must write a 1-page proposal. On the card, camera verb, write the opening problem line. 2-minute gate. Draft line ugly on purpose. Q stamp. After coffee, 09:40. Rope words. Only the first small part. Proof token. Screenshot first line. Next handle. Draft 3 bullet reasons ugly. Turnstile count. You run gate 1. Click. You run gate 2. Click. The third gate you run after lunch. Click. 3 clicks by 14:04. You feel the day moving. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A bead abacus on a desk. With each bead slid, your fingers know you advanced. Beads beat vague pride. To make the jig stronger, add the helper turnstile to your environment. Choose one place near your work where you will place a small, visible marker each time you pass the gate. It can be a coin moved from one cup to another, a sticky dot placed on the edge of your monitor, or 3 small paper squares stacked and peeled. The marker is tactile. Tactile proof persuades parts of your brain that words cannot touch. Now a compact variant for storm hours. Name it the narrow jig. It has 3 lines only. Rope words, 2-minute gate, proof token. No queue, no next handle, no boxes. When chaos hits, run the narrow jig once, then slip back to the full card when the weather eases. This keeps the habit alive when life tries to knock it over. What about tasks that resist 2-minute slicing, like deep math or deep design? Use a priming move. Before any gate, perform a single minute of domain priming. For math, copy a key definition by hand. For design, draw 3 tiny thumbnails. For research, write a single question the section must answer. Priming tells your brain which shelves to light. Shelves lit, work begins. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a dark pantry with labelled jars. You flick one small switch and the labels glow. You reach without hunting. Let us address the most common mistake with protocols, overfitting. You build a ritual so heavy that it breaks under its own weight. The jig must survive bad sleep, noise, and doubt. That means fewer pieces, not more. If any step often fails, replace it with something smaller and more concrete. Set timer beats prepare environment. Screenshot beats update tracker. Concrete survives. The second mistake is evaluation creep. You start the gate, and in 30 seconds a judge arrives. The judge wears your voice and points to flaws. Invite the judge to a later room. You start at 25 of every hour. Give the judge a chair with a time on it. Judges love chairs with times. After the judge sits, a cousin appears. The optimizer. The optimizer wants better fonts and cleaner tabs. Thank them. Then hand them a broom. You clean at 16:30. Work first, brooms later. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a restaurant kitchen at prep time. The knives move, onions fall, and no one argues with the clock. There is a station for chopping and a later station for plating. Your desk can be a kitchen. Here is the mini-I protocol in its shortest form, the one you can memorize. Card, rope, gate, proof, handle. That is it. Say it once, move once. Repetition turns the words into a beat. Beats turn into reflex. To press the learning into everyday life, add a small daily review that takes 2 minutes. Ask 3 questions aloud. How many clicks did I hear? Where did the loop leak? What single step will seal it tomorrow? Write 1 sentence. Close the card. The jig improves because you notice, not because you scold. Let us run a high-friction example to show edges. You need to call a difficult client. Camera verb, dial the number. 2-minute gate. Draft the opener sentence ugly. Q stamp at 15:05, rope words. Only the first small part. Proof token. Note, opener drafted with timestamp. Next handle. Dial and say opener. Turnstile count. At 15:03, panic rises. Use the narrow jig. Rope, gate, proof. The opener exists. At 15:05, the full card returns. Your hand moves. Calls begin with breath. The breath came. Open loops hide inside emotional tasks. The jig closes them one by one. You will still feel heat in your chest. Heat is human. The loop gives heat somewhere to go. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a kettle starting to sing. You do not fear the sound when a cup waits. The cup is your gate. To let the protocol travel, write a pocket line on the back of the card. Not later, lighter. When you hear yourself bargain, flip the card, read the line, and act. Bargains dissolve under action. You do not need a debate. A short companion habit cements the clicks. Before you sleep, place the card on tomorrow's path. On your keyboard, on the notebook you will open, on the bag you will lift. The sight triggers the rope before thought wakes. You set your own runway lights. Now the tiny step-by-step version you can share with a teammate or a friend. It fits in a message. Write your task as a camera verb. Shrink it to 2 minutes and make it ugly. Stamp a time. Say 5 words, only the first small part. Set a 2-minute timer and do it. Save proof. Write the next handle. Repeat 3 times. Simple spreads because it is teachable. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a metronome on a piano. Each click is a place to put your hands. Music returns when hands have places. You may worry that life will make the jig stale. It will not. The content inside the lines changes daily. The form stays. Form is a mercy. Mercy keeps effort affordable. You may also fear that you are building a cage. The jig is not a cage. It is scaffolding. Scaffolds let buildings rise faster and safer. When the structure stands, you remove them. If a piece of the jig ever feels like a cage, cut it. Keep the skeleton that helps you climb. The strongest gift this protocol offers is not speed. It is trust. Trust that you can begin even when care is loud and time is thin. Trust that a 2-minute gate can carry a heavy day. Trust that proof ends arguments. Trust arrives 1 click at a time. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a path through brush, now walked enough that the ground remembers. Your feet find it in low light. You have a card with 7 lines, a rope you can feel, and a turnstile that clicks. You know how to narrow the jig when storms rise, and how to prime a brain that resists. You understand how judges and optimizers can help if they are called at the right hour. You can teach this loop in a sentence and run it in your sleep. There is one more layer to bring the work closer to your life and your calendar. A layer that lets this jig shape mornings, afternoons, and evenings without rigid schedules or brittle plans. When days slip, it will hold. When energy dips, it will adapt. And when motivation disappears, it will still move. Resolution isn't a feeling you wait for. It's a simple sequence you can run. When that sequence lives in your hands, storms lose leverage and starts to feel light. You don't need a louder pep talk. You need a reliable beginning you can trust on a tired morning. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a small jig on a workbench. The jig holds wood at the right angle so every cut is clean. Without it, each cut demands judgment, and judgment drains strength. With it, the saw hums and the board slides. Your day needs a jig like that. We'll build one you can carry in your pocket. Think of it as a start card, a single note or phone page that tells your hands what to do when your head gets noisy. Keep it close. Keep it light. If it's heavy, it won't survive Mondays. Write one short line at the top that a camera could see. Use a clear verb. Write the first sentence. Drag the file into the folder. Dial the number. If a camera can't see it, it's still fog. Fog feeds delay. Now shrink that line until it fits inside 2 minutes and say this aloud. Ugly on purpose. Those 3 words lower the bar. Lower bars invite motion. You are not finishing the task. You are creating traction. Give the moment a real anchor. Tie it to time or to a routine. After coffee, at 14:10, when the meeting ends. Vague time leaks. Anchored time moves. Write the anchor beside your action so your eyes can find it. Whisper 5 steady words before you begin. Only the first small part. Breathe out slowly. Touch the file, the notebook, or the tool. That touch is your rope. Ropes help when thoughts try to sprint away. When the 2 minutes end, leave evidence. Save the file. Take a quick screenshot. Put a small check on paper. Proof ends the argument in your head. Proof also teaches your body that starts have endings, and endings feel safe. Then write the next tiny handle. Keep it so small that you could begin it without thinking. If energy is there, run another 2-minute slice. If not, stop on purpose and keep the proof visible. Stopping on purpose is a clean exit. Clean exits invite clean returns. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a turnstile that clicks each time you pass. The click is small, but your body knows you moved. Small clicks add up. Here is the loop in the simplest form that still works. Card, rope, gate, proof, handle. Say it softly as you do it. Place the card where your eyes land. Touch its edge and breathe. Read the action and the anchor once. Start the 2-minute gate, ugly on purpose. Capture proof. Glance at the next handle. Run another gate. Or stop on purpose. That's the whole jig. Let's test it on a real task. You owe a 1-page proposal. On the card you write the opening problem line. Anchor. After coffee, 0940. 2 minutes, ugly on purpose. Proof. A screenshot of the first line. Next handle. Draft 3 blunt bullet reasons. You run the gate once and hear a click. You run it again after lunch. Another click. By 14, you have a page that exists. Existing work invites editing. Blank space invites avoidance. You may wonder how this differs from what you've tried. It removes 3 leaks. It binds the rope to the very first move, not to a long warm-up. It gives proof in seconds, not at the end. And it writes the next handle before you can bargain with later. Fewer leaks, smoother flow. What about chaotic days? Use a narrow version that survives storms. 3 steps only. Breathe and say the 5 words. Touch the tool and make 30 seconds of sloppy progress. Leave proof. That's it. The habit stays alive when life is loud. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. Rain against a window, steady and hard. You don't dry the sky, you light a lamp and take 1 step you can keep. For deep work that resists slicing, hard math, dense reading, design, prime the shelf first. Spend 1 minute copying a key definition by hand. Sketch 3 tiny thumbnails. Write 1 blunt question this section must answer. Priming tells your brain which shelves to light. Lit shelves invite reach. 2 traps will try to pull you off the track. The first is overbuilding the ritual until it collapses under its own weight. Keep it light. A timer beats a complicated app. A checkmark beats a perfect tracker. The second trap, is judging too early. When the inner critic arrives, give it a chair and a time. You speak at 1/2 the hour. Critics obey schedules better than they obey speeches. Let's make the start card visible and tactile. Draw 3 small boxes on the edge. Each time you pass a gate, check a box. If you like texture, move a coin from one cup to another. Tactile proof persuades parts of your brain that words can't reach. Now place this jig into a day you actually live. Before bed, set the card where tomorrow's eyes will land, on the keyboard, on the notebook, on the bag. Morning, you deserve a runway already lit. When you arrive, don't negotiate. Touch the card, breathe, speak the 5 words, and begin. Negotiation is a clever delay. The jig is honest work. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, the small click of a key in a quiet lock. You don't open the whole house, you open the next door. That is enough to step through. If the task involves others, share the language. Ask teammates for actions a camera could see. Draft 3 headlines, not think about direction. When you request feedback, bring closeness forward. Ask for one small change, not a full review. Near feedback keeps momentum warm. A quick example for calls you keep avoiding. Write dial the number on the card, anchor it. At 15:05, 2 minutes ugly opener drafted first, proof. Opener written with a timestamp. Next handle, dial and read opener. At 15:03, nerves rise. Run the narrow jig. Breathe, write the opener, leave proof. At 15:05, your hand moves. Calls begin with breath. The breath already came. There is a deeper reason this works. Your brain misprices time under stress. It overvalues 5 minutes of escape and undervalues 5 minutes of entry. 5 minutes of escape creates nothing and teaches avoidance. 5 minutes of entry creates an artifact and teaches trust. The prices are not equal. Pay the cheaper one. Use this sentence when bargaining starts. Not later, lighter. You are not postponing, you are reducing weight. You are not rejecting the task, you are shrinking the entry. Say it once, then move within 2 minutes. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a market stall with 2 similar coins. One buys bread, one buys air. With practice, your fingers learn the difference by touch. A tiny evening review will tighten the jig without scolding you. Ask 3 questions aloud. How many clicks did I hear? Where did the loop leak? What single step will seal it tomorrow? Answer in one short line. Write it on the back of the card. Improvement arrives when attention notices ease. You may worry that small starts will keep you small. The opposite happens. Small starts make you consistent. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Trust expands your range. Big work sits on small rails. If shame whispers, "You shouldn't need this," answer with softer math. Humans build tools for hard things. You are human. Then prove it with a 2-minute artifact. Shame recedes in the light of evidence. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A kettle begins to sing. You don't fear the sound when a cup waits. The cup is your gate. Let's condense everything into a message you can text yourself or teach a friend. Write the next move in one line a camera could see. Shrink it to 2 minutes and let it be ugly. Anchor it to a time. Breathe and say, only the first small part. Do it. Leave proof. Write the next tiny handle. Repeat 3 times. Simple spreads because it is teachable. One last refinement. When the optimizer inside you wants fonts, shadows, and perfect tabs, thank it and give it a job. You choose fonts at the end. Optimizers love jobs. Jobs keep them helpful. This book is educational guidance, not therapy or diagnosis. If your struggle feels heavy or tangled with deep distress, professional help is wise and strong. Still, this small jig will carry you on ordinary hard days. It turns effort into a sequence your body understands. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A narrow path through tall grass. You have walked it enough that the ground remembers. On slow mornings and stormy afternoons, your feet still find it. You now hold a start card, a rope you can feel, and a gate you can trust. You know how to leave proof and how to write the next handle before doubt returns. You can run the loop in minutes and stack the clicks into hours. That is resolution as a sequence, not a mood. And sequence is something you can repeat, even when the sky's loud. Common mistakes look clever when you're tired. They feel like safety. They are not. They are quiet exits that dress up as work and drain the day. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A hallway with many doors, all labelled productive. Most open to closets. One opens to the room you need. Your job is to find that door faster. Here are the mistakes that steal your hours, and the counter moves that give them back. Over-planning instead of starting. You craft a perfect day in 3 colours. Noon arrives, nothing moved. Plans are useful after contact with reality, not before it. Counter move. Write the next camera visible action. Run a 2-minute gate, then plan the next 2 gates only. Planning follows traction. Tool hopping. A new app promises flow. You spend an afternoon choosing fonts. Counter move. The simplest timer you will actually touch wins. Proof beats polish. All or nothing days. You wait for a 6-hour window. 6 hours never comes. Counter move. 3 gates before lunch, 2 after. 5 honest gates beat 1 imaginary marathon. Polishing before drafting. You adjust spacing on a blank page. Perfect shadows, 0 sentences. Counter move. Ugly on purpose for the first pass. Beauty is the second job. Hiding in research. You read 10 tabs and forget your verb. Counter move. 1 question first, 1 paragraph answer next, then allow 1 new source. Questions create rails. Notification leakage. Pings yank your mind sideways. Counter move. 1 screen rule during gates. Close everything but the file you touch. Your brain deserves a small stage. Multitasking myths. 2 tracks feel efficient. Both slow down. Counter move. Finish a line, then switch. Use after this line as a rail when interruptions arrive. Shame spirals. You miss a start, then miss the day. Counter move. Name the miss once, then run 1 gate within the next hour. Guilt is heavy. Gates are light. 0-day resets. You burn your systems to start fresh. You rebuild the same walls. Counter move. Keep the start card. Swap only 1 line. Continuity is a gift to future you. Motivation dependence. You wait to feel like it. Feelings don't clock in on time. Counter move. Rope, gate, proof. The sequence makes the feeling arrive late, and that's fine. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. 2 coins that look the same. 1 buys air, 1 buys bread. You learn the weight by touch. Touch the gate. A short counter example to put this in your hands. Mira runs a small studio. She used to spend Mondays building elaborate schedules and switching tools. By Tuesday, drift had won. She changed 1 thing. Every morning, before any plan, she touched her start card and ran 1 2-minute gate. Ugly on purpose. Only then did she plan the next 2 gates. By week 3, her done list was 2 pages lighter, her calendar was simpler, and her anxiety had fewer places to hide. She didn't become a new person. She used fewer exits. Notice what she did not do. She didn't swear off apps, quit meetings, or seek a perfect morning. She moved the first piece with her hands. Hands persuade minds. Let's turn common mistakes into a practical drill you can run today. Name it the mistake swap. Step 1. Write 3 of your usual exits on a note. Keep them honest and short. Overplan. Polish first. Check inbox. This takes 30 seconds. Step 2. For each exit, write a paired swap that keeps you near the task. Overplan. First gate, then plan 2 gates. Polish first. Ugly on purpose. Check inbox after this line. Pairs matter. Your brain likes doors next to each other. Step 3. Place the note beside your start card. When you feel your hand drift, read the pair once and run the swap within 30 seconds. Do not argue with the drift. Replace it. Step 4. Leave proof of the swap. A check, a screenshot, a saved file. Proof ends debates you haven't started yet. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A road crew cutting a narrow fire break. Flames meet air and slow. Your swap is that strip of bare ground. Here are more mistakes, with thin, friendly counterexamples you can imitate. The calendar cosplay. You book every minute, then defend none of them. Counterexample. Block 3 10-minute lanes labelled Gate 1-2-3. You can keep 10 minutes. 10 minutes keeps you. The reward trap. You promise a treat after a massive push. The push never starts. The treat still arrives. Counterexample. Pair the first 2 minutes with a neutral, steady companion. A glass of water, a lamp you like, a low instrumental track. Rewards that live near the task are safer than rewards that live beyond it. Vague verbs. Work on proposal. Organize life. Counterexample. Verbs a camera sees. Write problem line. Rename 3 files. Cameras keep you honest. Elastic endings. You work until it feels right, which is never. Counterexample. 2 minutes or 1 point of proof. Stop on purpose. Restart on proof. Smart avoidance. You do small urgent tasks to dodge a real one. Counterexample. Run 1 gate on the real task first. After that, clear 2 urgent crumbs guilt-free. The order matters. Late day bargaining. You tell yourself you'll do it tonight. Nights are heavy. Counterexample. 1 gate now. 1 small promise you can keep tonight. Split the weight. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A small door in a big wall. You do not climb the wall. You find the door, push once, and pass through. Another short story is a counterexample. Theo, a developer, kept researching frameworks to avoid writing the seed of a feature. We added 1 rule. No reading before writing 1 paragraph of the user story. Ugly on purpose. Paragraph first, then 1 source. Within a week, the habit flipped. The paragraph made reading targeted. Targeted reading made coding quick. He still loved research. He just did it second. Let's add a compact practice to finish this section. Call it the 5x5 friction sweep. 5 toggles, 5 minutes, before your first gate, or when you stall. Toggle 1. 1 screen rule. Close all windows except the file you will touch. If the file requires a second window, make it side by side. Toggle 2. Phone out of reach. Face down, across the room, or airplane mode. Your hand cannot drift if it must stand. Toggle 3. Desk square. Clear a square the size of a sheet of paper. Physical space lowers mental friction. Toggle 4. Timer visible. A simple countdown you can see without alt-tabbing. Time should sit beside you, not hide behind you. Toggle 5. Proof container ready. Maha today folder, a small paperboard, or a sticky note. Proof needs a home. Run the sweep, then run 1 gate. The sweep is not work theatre. It is removing gravel from the path. Paths without gravel feel shorter. You may feel a sting while reading these. The sting is not failure. It is recognition. You have seen these exits before. That's good. Recognition is a handle. Handles help you turn. A brief word on language because words change rooms. Replace I'm behind with I'm at the door. Replace I must focus with I will begin for 2 minutes. Replace I should have done this yesterday with I can leave proof today. The room shrinks to a size you can move in. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a heavy theatre curtain. 1 pull reveals the stage edge, not the whole set. The edge is enough to place your foot. If you work with others, name mistakes out loud without blame. We overplanned. Let's run 1 ugly gate, then refine. We polish too early. Draft first, fonts later. Teams move when shame leaves the room. You can escort it out. 2 last traps and they're clean exits. Trap. Identity drama. I'm just a procrastinator. Exit. Describe behaviour, not soul. I delay when the first action is vague. Descriptions invite design. Trap. Energy mismatch. You push heavy work against a low battery. Exit. Run a tiny gate on the big task, then borrow momentum from a lighter chore, then return for another tiny gate. Momentum is transferable. Let's seal this with a short, repeatable, micro challenge. For the next 24 hours, keep a tiny tally of mistake swaps. Each time you notice an exit and replace it with the paired move, make a dot. Don't count minutes. Count swaps. Swaps retrain the loop that feeds delay. And if you miss, use the gentlest restart on record. Say, I slipped. Touch the card. Speak the 5 words. Run 1 gate. Proof, then next handle. No speeches. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A drummer at the back of the band. The song wobbles, then the beat returns. The beat is small, steady, and enough. Common mistakes will always knock. You do not need to build a fortress. You need a door with a good handle, a rope you can feel, and a habit of swapping exits for entries. The room you need is still down this hallway. Your hand knows the right door now. The next question waits, practical and close. How do you weave these swaps and gates into a day that keeps its promises, morning to night, without brittle rules and with room to breathe? You asked how to weave swaps and gates into a day that keeps its promises without brittle rules. The answer is a simple pattern you can wear from morning to night. Not a schedule carved in stone, more like a light playlist you can press play on, even when the tempo changes. Think of your day as 3 short sets rather than one long concert. A morning set that opens the room, a midday set that holds the groove, an evening set that resets and points the lights toward tomorrow. Each set needs only a tiny entrance, one proof, and one exit that keeps the door unlocked. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a pocket playlist with 3 tracks. Each track begins with the same quiet click. Your thumb knows where play sits. Your day can learn that too. Let the morning track start small and close. Touch your start card before messages or feeds. Read the camera visible line once. Whisper, only the first small part. Set a 2-minute gate, ugly on purpose. Leave proof you can see from your chair. Write the next tiny handle and place it where your eyes land after coffee. The goal is not heroics, it's tone. A clean first click conditions the hours that follow. If mornings are noisy, slide the gate into whatever space appears first. After the kettle, after shoes on, after the train door closes. Anchors beat ideals. You don't need a sacred hour, you need a sacred 2 minutes that actually happens. The midday track is about continuity, not glory. Lunch ends, meetings scatter, and drift calls your name. Use a bridge you can set in 15 seconds. Write one blunt sentence that starts with next and ends with a camera verb. Next, draft 3 rough bullet reasons. Then run a single 2-minute gate. Proof. Handle. If energy follows, add 1 more gate. If not, you still closed the loop and kept the day intact. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, stepping stones across a shallow stream. You don't jump the whole creek, you place a foot, then another. Dry socks are a plan. The evening track does 2 things only. It harvests proof and plants 1 seed. Harvest by moving today's screenshots, checks, or saved files into a simple today container. Do not curate. Pile them. Your brain sleeps better when it sees artifacts. Plant by answering 1 question on a sticky note. What single action would give tomorrow morning a head start? Fewer than 10 words. Put the note where your eyes will land when you wake. If you want a simple way to keep these tracks honest, give each set 1 keeper line, a sentence you say out loud at the start. Morning. Card, rope, small part. Midday. After this line. Evening. Seed 1 step. Said words calm weather. The body trusts phrases you've rehearsed. Now let's fit this pattern to lives that are not tidy. You have a child, a commute, clients across time zones, or a shifting shift. That's fine. Each set can be short and mobile. Morning might be at 06:40 or a 9:20. Midday might be squeezed between 2 calls. Evening might be the 5 minutes before brushing your teeth. The integrity of the set matters more than the clock. For a student, the morning track can be a single definition, copied by hand. Midday becomes 1 paragraph rewritten in simpler words. Evening's a 3-line card of tomorrow's first question. For a nurse on rotating shifts, morning is after uniform on. Midday is after first break. Evening's after shoes off for Moan. The anchors change, the click stays. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a tent with 3 guy lines. The wind moves, but the tent holds because the lines are small and tight. Your day doesn't need walls, it needs lines. Let's add a subtle layer that multiplies returns. Habit bundling around the gate. Pair your 2 minutes with neutral supports that live next to the task, not beyond it. A glass of water, a lamp you like, an instrumental loop at low volume. These are near comforts. They soothe the nervous system without turning the gate into a ceremony. Keep a rescue start in your pocket for surprise days. 2 sentences saved in a notes app. Paused at Niwiyam Bakar, next tiny step. When chaos erupts, you can still write those words. That single bookmark preserves meaning. Meaning makes returning easy. Here is a clean daily integration you can try today. No spreadsheets required. 3 clicks before lunch, 2 after. That's 5 gates. Each gate is 2 minutes. If you stack 2 gates sometimes, great. If not, 5 honest clicks still beat a perfect plan you never run. Pick the moments now. After coffee, after your first message, after lunch, after your 15-hour check-in, before you close. 5 is enough to move any week. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a small abacus at the edge of your desk. Slide 1 bead after each gate. The numbers you owe the world can wait. The bead tells you what you've done. To keep momentum warm without micromanaging, run a 5-5 friction sweep. Before your first gate, or any time you stall. 5 toggles, 5 minutes. 1 screen rule. Phone out of reach. Clear a square the size of a sheet of paper. Timer visible. Proof container ready. Then gate once. The sweep is not theatre. It's removing gravel from the path. Build gentle rails around interruptions. When someone speaks your name or a ping flashes, say quietly, "After this line," and finish the sentence you are on. Then respond. You turned a yank into a sequence. Sequence keeps the day's shape. Now the miniature challenges. The small games that train your reflexes without stealing your time. The first is a 24-hour 3 doors challenge. Open 3 gates today on 3 different tasks you often delay. Only 2 minutes each. Leave 3 proofs. At night, write 1 sentence. Which door felt easiest and why? The aim is not output, it's trust. The second is a weekly 1 room clean challenge. Choose 1 domain that breeds drift. Email, expenses, outlines. For 1 week, begin every day with a single 2-minute gate in that domain. Ugly on purpose. No exceptions. Watch how the room changes when it is touched first. Rooms touched first stop scaring you. The third is a swap count challenge. Keep a tiny dot tally for mistake swaps. Each time you catch an exit like polish first or check inbox, and replace it with the paired move. Don't count minutes. Count swaps. Swaps retrain the loop that feeds delay. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A drummer at the back of the band. Sometimes the melody wobbles. The beat returns. The beat is small, steady, and enough. If you lead others, turn the daily integration into a shared language. Begin stand-ups with a 2-minute silent gate on the real work, not a list of intentions. Ask for actions as camera verbs. Request 1 key change in feedback instead of thoughts. Close meetings by asking each owner for a time-stamped first step. Cultures that value starts produce finishes by accident. Let's place a simple, weekly, and monthly rhythm behind the daily tracks so they don't float. On Fridays, do a 3-question review in 3 minutes. How many clicks did I hear? Where did the loop leak? What single step seals the leak next week? Write 1 sentence for each. On the last day of the month, archive your today proof containers and skim the pile for 5 minutes. Pick 1 pattern to keep and 1 friction to remove. You are not auditing yourself. You are adjusting instruments. When energy dips, borrow momentum from a lighter act and return. Fold a blanket. Wash a single cup. Walk to the corner and back. Then slip in a 2-minute gate on the avoided task. Use the same phrase every time. Borrow, then begin. The body loves rhythm. Rhythm starts before motivation. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a candle in a drafty room. You shield it with 1 hand, and the flame steadies. That hand is your 2 minutes. The room can stay drafty. 1 more tiny structure keeps the day kind. Time-boxed endings. Gates end on a bell, not on a feeling. Feelings are talented negotiators. If the bell rings and you want more, stack another 2 minutes by choice. If not, stop on purpose, capture proof, and write the next handle. The clean edge is what lets the next set start clean. Language will keep helping. Replace "I'm behind" with "I'm at the door." Replace "I must focus" with "I will begin for 2 minutes." Replace "I ruin the morning" with "I can leave proof this hour." Rooms shrink to sizes you can move in when you change the sign on the door. You might still carry the old fear that small starts will keep you small. Watch what happens after a week of 5 honest clicks a day. Drafts exist. Calls are made. Forms complete themselves in short slices. Trust appears where pressure once lived. Trust scales better than adrenaline. To make integration travel across environments, keep a thin, portable kit. Your card, a pen, a timer, and one rescue line note that already says, paused at Nkramana. Next tiny step. Oh. With that kit, you can run the pattern at a cafe, a bus stop, a hallway bench. The room changes, the click stays. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A narrow path across grass you've walked enough that the ground remembers. Even in low light, your feet find it. Let's close the loop with a tiny rehearsal you can run now, in less than 5 minutes. Say the morning keeper line, touch your card, run a single 2-minute gait. Ugly on purpose, on anything you've delayed. Leave proof. Write the next handle and place it where your eyes will land later today. That small rehearsal is your day in miniature. Miniatures teach hands faster than lectures teach minds. You do not need rigid rules or heroic sprints to keep a day's promise. You need 3 short sets that start with a click you can repeat, 5 honest gaits that create evidence, and a few light challenges that keep the muscle warm. The rest of the day, emails, meetings, care, can live around that spine. And there is one last thread to tie. How to finish in a way that stays finished, to end the day with a clear table and a forward pull that makes tomorrow simpler than today. Finishing well is not about squeezing out one more burst. It is about closing the day so tomorrow starts light. You built handles, gates, and swaps. Now you'll tie them with a clean end and a clear pull forward. When endings are gentle and exact, beginnings arrive on time. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a small workshop at dusk. Tools return to their hooks. The bench is clear. A single pencil points to the next cut. You lock the door with a quiet click. Morning will be easy because the room remembers you. Tigar, here is a simple close that keeps its promise. 5 moves, 3 minutes. No drama. Harvest. Move today's proof. Screenshots, saved files, check marks into one today place. Do not curate, pilot. Proof lets your brain release the day. Bookmark. Wherever you are stopping, write 2 short lines. Paused at a. Now. Next tiny step. Da ka. Put the note inside the work. Bookmarks protect meaning. Seed. On a sticky note, answer one question in under 10 words. What single action will give tomorrow a head start? Place the note where morning eyes will land. Reset. Clear a square on your desk the size of a sheet of paper. Open only the file you will touch first. Set the timer to 2 minutes and leave it ready. That square and that timer are your runway lights. Thank. Whisper one sentence to close the loop. I kept the click. Gratitude is not a performance. It is a small door that shuts without noise. This close works because it ends uncertainty. Ends need edges you can feel. You feel an edge when proof is visible, the next handle exists and the stage is set. Edges reduce panic. Reduced panic invites starts. If evenings are busy, run a narrow close. 2 moves only. Bookmark and seed. Even on the worst day, you can write 2 short lines. Tomorrow will still have a place to stand. Pause for a moment. Imagine this. A bookmark slipped into a book as the train stops. You step off. The page will wait. The story is safe. Let's stitch your 3 daily sets with this finish. Morning still begins with the start card and a 2-minute gait. Ugly on purpose. Midday still keeps continuity with one next line and a gait. Evening now harvests proof, plants a seed and resets a square. The pattern is light enough to hold on heavy days. On weeks with travel or chaos, shrink the finish to 1 sentence and 1 object. Sentence. Next tiny step. Sabah. Object. The tool you will touch first placed on the square. The finish survives because it is small. 2 short cautions. Do not turn the finish into a new place to hide. If you catch yourself polishing the Today archive, stop. Archive is a pile, not a gallery. And do not plan 5 steps. Seed 1 step. 1 step is the weight your body will actually lift at 0940. If you lead a team, teach the close in 10 words. Proof piled, bookmark written, seed placed, stage reset. Done. End meetings with a shared seed. Ask each owner for a camera visible first action and a timestamp. Tomorrow's momentum will begin in the room, not in the inbox. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, a small metronome on a piano. 1 click ends the bar. The next click begins the phrase. Music stays honest when bars have edges. There is an emotional reason to close like this. Shame grows in vague endings. You stop, look away, and the task becomes a shadow with teeth. Bookmarks cut teeth. Seeds turn shadows into doors. Doors open. If your mind argues, answer with kinder math. 3 minutes now saves 30 tomorrow. Then prove it once. Proof silences arguments faster than speeches. Before we part, a brief boundary for care. This is educational guidance, not therapy or diagnosis. If your struggle feels heavy or tangled with deep distress, professional help is wise and strong. You are allowed support. Now, the questions that can change how you work because they change how you see. Which tiny start, repeated daily, would make the rest of your system almost unnecessary. Where does your panic actually drop? At the first touch, at the first saved file, or at the first reply? And how can you reach that drop sooner? Which exit do you use most when you're tired? And what is its paired swap you will rehearse until it feels automatic? If your day could keep only 5 honest clicks, where would you place them so your week still moves? What proof container would convince the part of you that doubts? And how will you make it effortless to fill? Here is your clear call to action, practical and near. Today, run a single 10-minute block as 5 clean gates in a row, 2 minutes each. Ugly on purpose. After every gate, capture proof and write the next handle. When you finish, write 1 seed for tomorrow and reset 1 square of your stage. Tomorrow, watch for 1 sign only. The voice that says, later. Answer with the line you now own. Not later, lighter. Touch the card. Breathe once. Run 1 gate. Proof, then handle. The day will follow the click. Pause for a moment. Imagine this, first light across a thin line of horizon. It does not illuminate the city, it makes the next step clear. That is enough.